Okay, thank you. Welcome to the first of a series of Banko Hoppy Hours. We're here, podcast here, Banko Beverage. I am your host, Joe Marino, the godfather of beer, the Sultan of Suds, the VP of personality, the Babe Ruth of beer. But enough about me. So we're here and we're talking about Guinness and Guinness St. Patrick's Day and how Guinness revolves around our business and how we help St. Patrick's Day, people in the Lehigh Valley celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So I have two guests here. To my immediate right is Doug Lisk, and Doug is a brand manager and area manager at Banko Beverage. He handles some of our craft brands and also our Yuengling brand. And we have a special guest, Andy Ruppe, who is our Guinness brand manager and is also an area manager. So we're here to discuss how Banko incorporates Guinness with St. Patrick's Day. So, Andy, let's just find out a little bit about you. You know, I want you to go in front of Doug because following Doug is like following like the elephant in a parade, so. So could you tell us things that are going on in Allentown, because that's kind of your area, how we're helping, Banko helping take care of the St. Patrick's Day?
Sure. We've been involved with the West End Parade for, I believe, what was it, 15 years about, Joe?
It's about 8 to 10.
8 to 10, okay.
15 years. So, yeah, West End Parade's been around about 15 years.
Right.
It came from... it used to be down Hamilton Street, and it started at the end of Hamilton, and then went down to the sort of like we used to call the old guys, we'd call the ward. And about 15 years ago, they moved it to the West End.
Nice.
And it certainly became more of a community affair when it got to the West End. They have everything is supported by the local bars. And so there's in their parade route, There's 8 bars that have been there since the inception. They're all there. Not one has ever dropped out. And they also have a coronation and a pub crawl, and that's all that helps the bars support the parade. So why don't you tell us how we help support the bars so they can support the parade?
Sure. So I know, historically speaking, the pub crawl is the weekend before St. Patrick's Day, which they do. I mean, it's usually a great turnout. The weather is always a little iffy that time of year, but it's always a really good turnout for the pub crawl. And then the Sunday after St. Patty's Day is when the parade takes place. So usually, a lot of fun activities going on. We always are happy to support them with Guinness swag and whatever we can do to help the event. Help the event better.
Yeah, I know that there's a Guinness 5K, and could you give us your best time in the Guinness 5K?
Still going.
Actually, it's the West End 5K. It's the parade 5K. So it's having a little fun at your expense.
Yeah,
it's never happened before. So and then tell us a little about that coronation.
Yeah, so the coronation. We usually sponsor it with local beer. We've done Yuengling in the past. This year, Brew Daddy is going to be involved. The parade generally picks honorary king and queen every year, and we're happy to support the party that they have every year. Bring a beer trailer, and we again just help them whatever they can with the party.
That's great. That's great. So, like if I'm walking through the West End, and I'm going to see in the next couple of weeks a lot of banners for the parade, for the coronation, and also being a sponsor, we actually help out with. There's a fundraiser that's at the Knights of Columbus. In fact, I believe it's tonight.
Sunday.
It's Sunday.
Yep.
Sunday night.
Yep.
So Sunday night, it's a fundraiser. It's at the Columbian Home in Allentown, and that helps support the parade. The pub crawl supports the parade. And one thing that I've been going to this parade, I don't know, probably for the last 10 years. And it's one of those things that along the parade route is all these bars, so people gather at their favorite bars. And then after the parade, everybody kind of stays. It's like nobody at least the drinking people, they don't go anywhere. So the parade starts, people gather up about 9 o'clock in the morning, and probably about 10 o'clock at night, they start heading home. So it's a good event. It's a good beer event. It's a great Guinness event, but it's also great for just people in general. A lot of kids, a lot of people going out there. In fact, I think Banko is actually going to have a float. Our marketing manager, Tony Barzinski, came up with the brilliant idea of having a float. So we are going to be entered in both the Allentown Parade and the Bethlehem Parade, which I'm going to ask Doug here. Doug, can you tell us a little bit about the Bethlehem Parade, since you are a resident of Bethlehem? It's kind of like your town almost.
I mean, I guess I could tell you something about it. I mean,
Well, I demand it.
it's always on the north side, except for 1 year. We had it on the south side. It's usually the week before as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to fact check me because I'm probably wrong about everything I say. It's a parade. It starts over by like Abe's, comes around Main Street, goes down. We used to have beers at the Wooden Match at the end. I don't know if they're doing that anymore.
I believe they will.
We used to try to have a beer truck set up for it, but then we would freeze Harp because it's always too cold. So we don't do that anymore. But yeah, it's a parade. And hopefully everybody will come out and drink a lot of beer for it.
Yeah, I believe it's sponsored, and it's kind of a fundraiser for the Celtic Cultural Alliance, which is Celtic Classic. And so that's one of the big things that the last couple of years, the parades have gone away, and it kind of diminished a little bit of that feel for the Celtic Fest. Celtic
It seems
Classic.
to snow or ice every year. So
Yeah.
last year, I think
It is a
it
tough
did
time of
both.
Yes.
Or a tornado comes through, something like that.
Yeah. And speaking of praise, Andy, your first St. Patrick's Day, which would be March 17th, 2020. Could you give us any highlights of your career in Guinness and St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, in that particular year, there was a virus that from overseas that rolled through and kind of ruined all our festivities, unfortunately.
Was it the bumps?
Yeah.
Similar symptoms.
So back in 2020, March 17th was actually the day they closed the bars in the state of Pennsylvania. So it was very, very tough for us. And of course, we had a scapegoat, and his name was Andy. So, Andy, tell us a little bit more about Guinness and the cultural part of Guinness. And origins of St. Patrick's Day, and then tell us more about the beer and the best way to drink the beer and pour the beer. And because I know, being an ex-quality guy, there is a trick to it, and there is a way to drink this beer that makes it presentate better and actually, I think, tastes better. Give us a couple minutes.
So if you're drinking Guinness on draft, the 2-part pour should be executed at every bar. So step 1, you got to get a cool, clean glass, and then you hold it at a 45-degree angle underneath the spout, and then when you open it, you got to make sure you open it all the way. And then you're going to fill it right to the top of the harp, and you're going to let it settle from anywhere between 60 seconds and 90 seconds.
Isn't it like 192 seconds?
So the whole process should take 2 minutes, according to Guinness.
119.5.
119.5. So the whole process takes 2 minutes. So then once you fill it here, you let it settle. Then once you're allowing it to surge and settle, this is where the magic happens, as they say. The carbonation, the nitrogen bubbles go from the sides and come up the middle, and they create that iconic creamy foam that Guinness drinkers, have come to love. And then after that, you take it and you put it back under the spout, and you push it forward this time to top it off, and then the foam wants to be right above the rim, and then you turn it, label out, and serve it to the customer. So that is the 2-part pour and the 6 steps, which allows Guinness to be consistent and have good quality at every pub in the world.
Fantastic.
That was okay. I give it a B.
Yeah.
But
You missed a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Try to keep it summarized. I don't know how much time we got.
Yeah,
What's the nitrogen doing in
we
there?
got time.
I have a whole story for that.
Well, you should tell that part of the
The
2-part tour. Like, there's a reason why that beer sits there for 192 seconds.
119.5, Doug.
I think you're right. Where's the tap marker? It's on the back of the tap marker.
Yeah, so that's true. I was going to give you the romantic story of why, but like, go on if you got.
No. I want to hear the romantic story of why.
Okay.
I didn't know it was romantic.
That's page 2 notes.
Oh, jeez.
So bear with me because I just kind of learned this. I talked to our Guinness guys this morning, so so it might be a little choppy here. It might take a couple edits.
Coached by an Italian.
So, Doug, in the 1950s, draft systems were just getting relevant again. Well, relevant for the first time, not again.
Not again. Well,
Not
you
again,
never
right.
know.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason why is because refrigeration was becoming cheaper and less expensive. So pub owners around the world started to install more draft systems. The Guinness at the time being produced was similar to our present-day Guinness Extra Stout. So those of you who had tried that, it's a great beer. Unfortunately, this beer, when it was poured, was too foamy in a keg. So Guinness decided to challenge all their employees and say, how do we fix this problem? How do we get it not foamy, right? So a gentleman named Michael Ash, a mathematician who worked in the finance department, not a brewer, he's a mathematician, decided to come up with the process of nitrogenation.
Say that 5 times.
Nitrogenation. Two.
Three more.
Two's enough.
So when he came up with this, that is the process that creates the surge and the settle and the creamy foam that the Guinness drinkers around the world seek out. So the equipment as well as the beer are carefully engineered so consumers all over the world can enjoy a consistent quality Guinness pint.
He's reading the notes now.
Yeah, I forgot that last part. Right. I needed help on that one.
Okay, so stop reading. So
that's it. I needed help.
So I would ask you a couple of questions. So a lot of people think that Guinness is a black beer. Incorrect. It is ruby red. It is deep ruby red
It's a rhetorical
in
question.
color.
He answered it as he asked.
Good. I like that.
I have to.
I like that theme.
I have to.
Keep going.
So, and also, it is not a heavy beer. It is actually a light beer.
Correct.
It has almost as few calories as Coors Light. Coors Light, yes. Right. It's got yes. So it's not.
It's a weird comparison.
So when people are out there going, "Oh, I can't drink that. That's too dark. That's too heavy." The fact that it floats on nearly every other beer created, that means it's not heavy, it's light. Because if it was heavier, it'd be on the bottom, not on the top.
Like it.
And the nitrogen helps with that, being smaller bubbles. Right. That's why the product floats on top.
Add chemist to your list of titles. That was very scientific.
Good. Yes, I've been to Ireland. I've been to Ireland several times. So a little bit enough about Guinness, so much as we'll talk about you guys. So, Doug, could you kind of tell us a little bit about, how you came to Banko, your entire career at Banko, and kind of tell us what you do, because I'd really like to know.
I thought we were doing a good job talking about Guinness there. I thought we were doing the St. Patrick's Day thing. I don't know. I've been around for 17 years now. I think it's 17 years.
I think it's longer. I think that's how long I've been here.
Seems a whole lot longer.
So it might be 18 years?
Seems a whole lot longer.
I'll have to look that up. I didn't take notes ahead of time. I don't know. I sell beer. I started with an AB house, drove some beer truck, sold some beer there, and then came over to Banko because it's nice to work for the Banko family. They're great people. They take care of you. So it's a fun place to work because, they let you try, and you can fail until you get successful. So, but yeah, I work on our trucks. I do all of our little festival things. If you need help, if there's any retailers looking out there at me on the screen, which I don't like, help you fix your draft system and stuff. So, just been in the beer business a pretty long time, and I go about doing my business.
You do a great job, Doug, and I'll tell you, if passion is your biggest asset, and you do a great job for Banko, and man, I could tell you I'm happy to have you on our team.
Well, thank you.
And then there's Ruppe.
Hello.
Okay, Andy.
17 years.
Give us the rundown, bud.
Fact check me, because you've been 17 years here at Banko. I've been 17 years in the business. That's where I got confused. So you've probably been at Banko 17. You're right. 17, 18. That's all. Yeah, that's all. I just wanted to clarifying my mistake.
Nice fact check.
Thank you. So yeah, I've been in the business about 17 years. Like Doug, I started an AB house for the first 7, always in sales, and then for about 10 years now, I've been at Banko. Brand manager, area manager. Love working for this company. There's a lot of wholesalers and breweries you can work for in the state of Pennsylvania, but I think it's going to be hard to top Banko Beverage. Just with the coworkers we have and the way we do our business, like to have fun, but we also like to get results. So
I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but as you were a young man growing up and working your way at Allentown Beverage, anybody like really influential in your life that maybe you admire or look up to?
Well, I think he was an area manager at the time for Banko. He had a real keen eye for talent. Like he could see talent. So Joe called me one day and said, "Hey, I got an opening. You interested?" So Mr. Marino is the guy who recruited me to work for Banko, and I am very grateful for him for doing that.
So
Who?
it's my fault. So it's my fault.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Well,
What's it doing there, Andy?
Yeah.
Surging and settling. Very
Look
nice.
at that.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
and the
Very
wit-
nice. A very nice Guinness.
And the widget in here is actually nitrogenated, which allows
And who invented that?
Michael Ash.
Look at you go.
Actually, the widget in the Guinness can was invented by a guy who worked at Air Products in
Really?
Allentown.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Fact
So you've
check
been
me on
fact
that.
checked immediately.
Yeah. Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
He came up
Michael
with the
Ash
idea.
was the
Michael Ash
nitrogenation
was dead.
process.
He
Well,
was
that's
dead
cool.
and
Right.
gone before once the widget got in. We covered the parades. We covered. Let's talk about some of the bars that we go to. Now we don't have favorite bars because we love everybody, but there are favorite bars around the Lehigh Valley that do specialize in Guinness and do everything right with Guinness. So every Guinness account to us is special, but there are some that are, typically Irish bars. So any you could think of, I mean, are all our friends. So I mean, we're not here to make enemies, but any in particular, we do a lot of promotions. I mean, I could get started and say, like, we have our friends at Molly's, our friends at F&A and on the south side. Doug, any more that you can think of?
Yeah, there's great beer, Guinness pours in Bethlehem. So we got on the north side, we got McCarthy's, Rippers. You get down in there, have a cigarette and a nice pint. It's going to be a 16-ouncer.
Rippers does they do a nice pour, yes.
Joe's Tavern pours a nice pint.
Yep.
The Goot. Yeah, it's hard to not. I mean, in Bethlehem, we've really made sure to drive the quality, and they'll tell you at Guinness that what is it? If you come in and you order a pint and it's bad, those guys aren't ordering another one. But if you pour the proper pint and show them a nice meniscus, nice perfect beer, I think it's like something like 75-80% of the time they will buy another beer, and they will tell their friends about it to come to your bar. I mean, I probably left the Keystone Pubs out too. They pour a nice pint as well.
Yeah.
And if I didn't
many.
say your bar, you know my phone number. Call and complain at me later. I'm ready
Yeah,
for
there's
it.
many. They're all our friends. We were just, for a topic of discussion, some that are
pissed somebody
really,
off, I'm sure of it.
really
too late.
Irish-centric. They do you can get a good Guinness everywhere that pours it right. It's a good Guinness, but, some are like, they have the bangers and mash. They have the Irish menus and things like that. So, we're talking about St. Patrick's Day and Guinness. So, we're not here to make enemies. We're here to make friends. So,
Yep.
Andy, any you could think of, like, we have the Wellahands guys. They usually do pretty good.
They do. Yep, they do. Up north, too, in the Poconos, Finolas. Am I saying it right? Finolas?
Sounds about right.
Finolas and Sheemsa are very popular Irish bars up there who serve good quality Guinness pints. In Easton, Porter's Pub, of course, is now close to my heart, of course.
Of course.
And in Easton, there's a ton of Guinness accounts and a ton of people that pour a nice pint, similar to Bethlehem. And the West End of Allentown, all those bars down the parade route,
Yeah.
great accounts there, too.
Yeah. All of them.
Yep.
There's probably of the 8 accounts, I think every one of them has Guinness on tap.
I think you're right.
And they're all good customers. And So anybody that has a chance, it's actually on St. Patrick's Day this year because it used to be the Sunday after. So this year it's on St. Patrick's Day. Come down, see Banko, see our float, talk to these bars, support the local community because it is a community affair. And Andy promised that he would run in the 5K this year if everybody else came down to watch it.
You and Steven, what's going on?
Edit that out.
Yeah.
You can walk it.
He promises. So I guess we could wrap it up with just saying to everybody, hope we get back to the Banko Hoppy Hour many, many more times and with some interesting content. This is our first one, so pardon us if we weren't on point, but I think we did a pretty good job.
I think we should have a little toast for the first one. Obviously, with some Guinness here, we each have a glass. Mine's full. I don't like to drink alone, so
I would definitely agree with that.
We can watch your guys' pours, and I know it should come out of a tap at a 45-degree angle, but all beers should be tilted at a 45-degree angle when you're pouring them.
And I'd like to just mention now, if you love Guinness but you don't drink alcohol for any reason or another, Guinness Zero is now available at most bars and distributors and grocery stores.
Which is just Guinness Nitro with the alcohol removed.
Exactly right. Now, also, when I don't know if you know about this, Joe, I learned about a new drinking game. When you take your first sip of Guinness, you have to try to split the G.
Split the G?
Split the G. So you have to go try to drink it right in the middle of the G, first sip.
Okay, so when I was taught to drink Guinness at the brewery, they always say
down in one.
No, because when you get when you do a draft and it fills the thing, there's a dome over there, and you're always supposed to look over the glass and not into the glass, over the glass, and it should be like seven sips to finish it, and all it'll come straight. All the foam will be straight down the glass. That's when you know you have a clean glass, good pour, and everything.
Nice.
So, to my friends, Doug and Andy, and everybody out there, Sláinte. Wrap it up.